Hello and welcome to Norfolk Now.
In today's programme, we look at a tough time ahead for the festive season, just days away.
Yet another increase in fuel prices will hurt us all, the elderly in particular.
And how are government cuts affecting the Christmas retail trade?
And the University of East Anglia closes its prestigious School of Music at a time when students are already facing large fee increases.
First, we're now into winter and temperatures have plummeted to below freezing.
The energy companies have raised their gas and electricity prices just as government have cut winter fuel allowances for pensioners.
More people die of fuel poverty than traffic accidents every year in the UK. Guy went to see how local people will cope.
Fuel bills are up and so are the number in fuel poverty. Keeping warm this winter is a struggle for millions in the UK, especially here in Norwich. Not all of them will make it. This is Great Yarmouth Power Station, one of several that provides energy to homes in Norwich. The big six energy companies blame the price increase on a rise in wholesale prices, but wholesale prices have actually fallen. According to figures obtained by Age UK in 2008, of the 57,976 households in Norwich, 7,930 were found to be in fuel poverty. That is a figure of 13.7%. Mrs. Thompson is one of those 13.7%. We were put in contact with her here at Norwich's Age UK charity headquarters. She agreed to tell us her story.
I live on my widow's pension, which is not very much. £65 a week isn't a lot. Energy companies should be asked to be more transparent in their billing.
In the UK, the six major energy companies control 99% of the gas and electricity market.
Yes, I know. They demanded that I pay in full all the money. I said, you can come and put me in jail because the only money that I can give you is £10 a week. I've been fighting with the EO from the very beginning. But they're not there to solve your problem. They're simply answering the phone. They're so opaque in their charges. They never are helpful.
They're never helpful?
They are never helpful, no. All they do is to tell you how much you owe and why you owe it.
In Britain, the number of those in fuel poverty is expected to rise from 4 to 6.5 million. According to the government gas and electricity regulator, Ofgem, the profits of the energy companies have trebled since last winter. Compared to last year, the government's winter fuel allowance is now £50 lower for the over 65s and £100 lower for those over 80 years old. We contacted all six of the major energy companies but got no response. We spoke to the MP for Norwich South, Simon Wright, and he sympathised with people like Mrs. Thompson, but at the same time felt the government was doing all it can.
With rising living costs and Britain at the risk of entering deeper into recession, local councils are having to deal with the cuts being implemented by central government. Hannah Gardner went to Norwich City Centre to find out how the changes are affecting retail trade at their busy Christmas period.
In the heart of Norwich lies its busy city centre with a wide range of shopping facilities and other services, making it the 9th best retail sector in the country. But in the past few years, with Britain's faltering economy, the central government have made numerous cuts, which saw Norwich Council budget axed by 3 to 4 million this year. This has had a damaging effect on the local economy, with shops having to work particularly hard to increase custom, especially with the lead up to Christmas. However, some shops haven't been able to sustain enough income to survive.
I think Norwich in the last year in particular has had a lot of cuts, particularly in the public sector. So the City Council has had to make something in the order of about £30 million worth of cuts over the last 3 years. The County Council's made cuts and other public bodies. And of course that's had an effect on unemployment levels. A lot of public sector jobs have gone. And I think the important point is that public money spent by the council is circulated around the local economy.
But just how much are the current cuts having an effect on the local economy? We're here today to speak to both shoppers and shopkeepers to see how they're dealing with the current cuts.
Well, at the beginning of this year, when I set my targets, I was thinking that we would be seeing quite an increase over last year, but I've had to rein the targets back with the economy the way it is at the moment, and we're hoping to match and maybe do a little increase over last year.
We sell a lot of seasonal products which are associated with Christmas, and there's always an upturn in trade at that time of year, but whether that will be the same as previous years, I'm not quite sure.
I think the economic climate's made a lot of difference this year. With Christmas spending, I've definitely had to cut back. I'm finding that I have to budget things more, and as well as being a student, it's difficult to know how much you can spend on people, especially when you need to get nice gifts, and shops have put their prices up as well to try and counterbalance it all. So definitely spending a little bit less, yeah.
With the build up to Christmas, shops are hopeful that sales will increase. However, with the further cuts expected, will Norwich be able to cope with the harsh winter months that follow?
Gloomy prospects perhaps, but there is one ray of sunshine in the winter gloom. Recently announced plans to go ahead with the dualling of the A11 could do much to help the local economy. John Fitzpatrick reports from the Norfolk-Suffolk border.
These are common scenes on the A11, the main route from London to Norwich. The remaining 9-mile stretch of single carriageway near Thetford has for many years been unable to accommodate the volume of traffic that uses the road. Norwich is the largest city in the UK not to be connected to the rest of the country by dual carriageway. The government recently gave the go-ahead for a £130 million redevelopment project, which is expected to take 4 years to complete. The result will see a reduced journey time of up to 25 minutes in peak periods, increasing productivity for the whole region.
I go to uni in Norwich, but I travel back to London quite a lot because I live there, and I have to leave an hour before just because of the traffic on the A11. I think changing it into a dual carriageway is a good idea, as it's going to shorten the time that I have to spend in the car.
I suppose a dual carriageway would be a good thing then. I'll be able to drive to work, get on time, although how many trees are they going to cut down to make it?
The government envisages huge benefits for the wider regional economy, but speculation has arisen as to the extent to which local business will be affected.
We should be fairly safe with the plans. The traffic should still be coming past our wagons, so hopefully our business should be safe.
Some villages situated on the A11 will be bypassed by the new dual carriageway, making life easier for residents.
I'm here in Elvedon, a small village in the Suffolk countryside. Situated directly on the A11, the main road from Norwich to London, every morning the piece is destroyed by backed up traffic as far as the eyes can see. Residents of Elvedon have been campaigning for a new road for many years now, so I'm sure they will welcome the new plans.
We caught up with local business owner Maggie McGee.
Well, we're hoping it improves the business because with the road and the traffic as it is at the moment, it's very difficult for any passing trade to stop. People that live on this side of the road are subject to the constant noise and the hassle of it. People that live across the road in the park, they avoid coming over here because it's so difficult to cross the A11.
The plans are expected to have a major effect on the regional economy.
The government has claimed that the dualling of the A11 will generate an estimated £1.1 billion for local businesses. How realistic do you think this number is?
I think it's very realistic because it's based on a number of different factors. I mean, the savings in journey times is very significant. You know, thousands of businesses use that road every day, and in the course of a year, it's probably tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, particularly. And the impact on their individual efficiency really does start to add up.
Given the current economic climate, is this the right time to be dualling the A11?
Absolutely. I think it's really important to understand that business across the whole of Norfolk and beyond has been crying out for this improvement for a long time.
Only time will tell of the true benefits, but things seem to be speeding up for Norfolk.
Recent changes mean Norfolk's youth services no longer receive any money from the County Council, but local communities are fighting back. Lucy Murphy reports on Norfolk's emerging big society.
Norfolk Norfolk County Council is facing a funding gap of £155 million over the next 3 years. Children's services have been hit particularly hard. To bridge this gap, 2 new funds have been created, the Youth Transition Fund and the Youth Innovation Fund. The responsibility for distributing this money lies with the Youth Advisory Board. But how will this work?
That decision-making group will involve young people themselves, along with representatives from health, the constabulary, ourselves as the county council and the district councils, to make decisions about where groups are talking about doing something that is new and innovative in terms of meeting young people's needs. We know we're going to have to find different ways to be able to respond to young people.
One new and innovative project is the Base in Norwich.
The Base is a community and family support centre. It's funded by Barnardo's, the Parksides Trust and the Central Norwich Foundation Trust. And we work with young people, families and the general community. We're funded by various sources, but also we're very fortunate here at the Base to have local businesses on board. We work with John Lewis, Virgin, Aviva, providing members of staff to come and have team building days here where they do gardening, decorating, and offer their services to support the families and young people. We had Moban Kitchens very kindly donate us a brand new beautiful kitchen so we can run cookery workshops and just enable people to have a nice space to come and have lunch and come and sit.
The Base is always looking forward with ambitious plans. So what does the future hold?
Very excited because we're setting up 3 new youth clubs a week. One will be for years 6, 7 and 8 and another one for years 9, 10 and 11 where it's a safe space for people to come and chill out.
We know that as we move forward the future is very much going to be about meeting young people's needs through the voluntary and community sector, projects like the Base and a whole range of projects we've got across Norfolk which are providing really good work for young people. That's the emphasis for us as we move forward, is about how we can enable and support projects like that rather than necessarily directly delivering services ourselves as a county council.
The cuts have been tough on Norfolk's children's services, but projects like the Base prove that youth services in the region are far from being exterminated.
Another way the local community is supporting young people is through the opening of Norwich Free School. Rather than being controlled by the council, it is run by parents and local partners. Jamie Rouse looks at how the school would change the face of education.
In September 2011, a school free from local education authority control opened in the heart of Norwich to fulfil the specific needs of the local community. The school is located in a Georgian building in a bustling street. It has a vision for a balanced learning environment that focuses on the individual needs of the children. Whilst we weren't allowed to film the pupils, Amber Evans spoke to the principal to find out exactly what it is that makes the school special and what opposition it faced before opening.
Basically there are 3 aspects to it. It's like a triangle really. In one corner we have the fact that the school is open all year round to meet the needs of working parents. We have an extended school which is run by a separate team of staff called Squirrel Staff. We charge £2.80 an hour to parents, including all food costs, drink, activities and so on. So it makes it really, really affordable. So that's kind of one corner of the triangle. In the next corner we have a truly broad and balanced curriculum, and to achieve that we work with community partners, people from Madam Market Theatre, Norwich City Football in the community. We work with local sporting venues. In addition to that, we work with local artists, local musicians, so the children get the best possible exposure to the real coaches and professionals out there and not just trained primary school teachers. In the third corner we have a real emphasis upon the individual child and developing individual potential for the future, and that really is the main selling point to the school for parents. 1 or 2 of the local primary schools were upset by our arrival, but we understand that, as with anything new, it can cause fear, uncertainty in different parts of the community, and I think after we've been open a couple of years and the facts are all out there and people have been and seen the school and realised actually we're all normal here, we're just doing things slightly differently. I think that will go away.
A high proportion of the school's pupils come from underprivileged backgrounds. Whilst they may have been turned away from other schools due to demanding educational needs, the Norwich Free School provides a platform where every child has the opportunity to reach their potential.
Despite initial opposition to the school opening, the Norwich Free School appears to be doing very well. 3 months into the school year, parents, children and teachers alike seem to be happier with the results of learning under this environment. So much so that Principal Tanya Sidney Roberts has been asked to open more schools nationwide using this model. All in all, the future of the school and all its pupils appears to be very bright. Students at the University of East Anglia will be facing an increase in fees from next year. The university itself is also having to address harsher economic times, and for the last month has been considering plans to close one whole school. Johnny Atkinson reports.
I'm here outside the UEA School of Music, which has been threatened for closure due to the project seeming no longer financially viable. There's been various protests and over 4,000 people have signed a petition, including Coldplay's Chris Martin and the musician Jules Holland. Over to James Allen, who spoke to various students and members of staff with regards to the UEA School of Music.
The Vice-Chancellor commissioned a review in the summer to look at what had been going on in the last decade. The school was reviewed a decade ago, and it was time to see how it was doing. And the review panel clearly decided that while there had been improvements in some areas, it didn't think that the improvements had been sufficient to warrant the sort of investment that would be needed.
The review, published on the 28th of October, reported that continued subsidy and investment in the school was no longer viable from 2012. As a result, the School of Music was recommended for closure. The Save the Music campaign, however, has other ideas, and has staged a number of concerts and rallies to show the level of support for the school's continued existence and portray the school as a cultural asset.
The proposal to close UEA Music fails to recognise the importance of the department not only to its students, but also to the whole of Norfolk and East Anglia. The UEA Music course is very highly regarded and was ranked 5th in the Guardian's 2010 University Guide among many conservators. We urge the university's governing council to oppose this short-sighted proposal.
14 of the top 20 universities all have music schools. It's a sign of a healthy academic environment. It's kind of it'd be a sorry thing to lose a school of music, which is kind of a it helps UEA's kind of unique appeal. It's kind of academic diversity and choice, which makes kind of UEA kind of more sellable and attractive to students.
With the final decision on the school's future to be taken on the 28th of November, the time to face the music is certainly drawing near. Whatever happens, this band is determined to go out on a strong note.
Since we recorded that item, the UEA has decided that it will close the music school.
And the financial duress at the UEA doesn't end there. As we have heard, next September, tuition fees at all English universities will significantly increase. Our correspondent, Nathaniel Dove, spoke to students to gauge their reaction.
This is the University of East Anglia. Located in Norwich, UEA is known for its creative writing and climate change awareness. It was ranked as the 18th best university in the United Kingdom for 2012, and in 2010 it had a 90% satisfaction rating from its own students. Recent legislation has allowed English universities to begin charging up to £9,000 tuition for 1 year of post-secondary education. UEA is the university that has chosen to do so. It is our wish today to investigate the effects of this increase in tuition upon students, bearing in mind that tuition fees will soon be 3 times more expensive than they are now. We hope to find out how students themselves believe that they will be affected and what they believe their options are.
I just think a lot of students probably aren't going to go to uni because their families won't be able to afford it.
I think it's going to scare a lot of people when it comes to considering whether they're going to go to university in the first place.
I know personally my little sister will be affected by them, which means that she might not choose to go to university.
Would you have been able to afford the rising cost in tuition?
Me personally, no.
I really don't think so.
This then poses the question, how will English universities continue to attract students? Given that youth unemployment in this country is in excess of 1 million people, and that overall national unemployment is at a 17-year high of 2.62 million people, the future of Great Britain's labour force seems uncertain. If education is cheaper abroad, will English university students pursue it? And if there are no jobs waiting for them upon their return, why would they come back? I spoke to Edward Acton, Vice Chancellor of UEA, to see what he had to say. Vice Chancellor, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Why have you decided to have the sudden increase in tuition fees?
Well, the government has drastically reduced the grant we used to get for teaching and tapering it away for most subjects.
What is it that attracts overseas students to English universities?
Internationally, British universities are highly attractive. We have a very disproportionate share of world student movement, partly because the universities are so good, and they're hugely magnetic to overseas students.
But many of the students I've spoken to, the current students that is, said that they probably couldn't afford the money that they have now, even with scholarships and whatnot.
One hopes, though, that people will reflect and the sort of reporting and public discussion about it will calm people's nerves about the debt. It's a very specialised kind of debt. If you earn nothing, you pay nothing back. You only pay when you earn 21,000 a year, or the equivalent as inflation increases the figure, and when and while you're earning that.
Positive words from the Vice Chancellor. Maybe there is reason not to be so discouraged. But the economic figures paint a different picture, and only time will tell whether English universities can rise to meet the challenge. Nathaniel Dove, Norwich.
Now, still at the UEA, the Olympic torch made an early appearance there in the last few days. Tom Oliver is looking into the ways in which the Olympic Games could affect us all this summer.
As the sporting world's biggest spectacle approaches, several years of planning are sparking enthusiasm in communities across Britain. Under 2 hours by train from the Olympic site and located in a region renowned for its natural beauty, Norwich is one of the communities with vast potential to maximise on the opportunity.